Oh, I got to turn down this volume, everybody. We're live. Hey, everyone, this is Thomas Pop from Video Mantis. I want to start off by saying Happy New Year. This is our first Mantis discussion of the new year, and it's actually a pretty fun, interesting one. It's kind of stressful. We're both stressed right now. You guys just can't really tell. We're working on Showtime's All Access for Manny Pacquiao versus Adrien Broner, which is live in Las Vegas, January 19th. At night. This is going to be a crazy show. Everybody knows who these guys are. It's a crazy boxing event. And I have with me my field producer, Patrick Straub. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me.
Good, absolutely. Thanks for doing this and for obviously finding a way to get in here. We're actually just on call all the time, waiting for things to happen when things happen. That's even why you have your phone on the table right now.
Yeah, man. Gotta do it. Gotta do it.
So tell us a little bit more about yourself and how you got involved in doing these types of shoots.
Most of my career has been in sports. Came up, and then I worked full-time for Showtime for 5 years, Showtime Sports, and it was great. I left my full-time role about a year and a half ago to kind of branch out and do some other things. My entire career had been in sports at that point. I wanted to do some other stuff. Got into a little bit of political work during the political season most recently. But always have maintained great relationships at Showtime, which is really fantastic. And
you didn't burn your bridges.
Don't burn bridges, man. I mean, yeah, don't burn bridges. And there might be times you're tempted to, and you don't really like who you're working with or working for, but don't do it. Bad move.
Yeah.
And but no, there's good people at Showtime who I really enjoy working with and working for, and so it's been great to circle back now that I'm a freelancer and get roped into this and working the Manny Pacquiao camp has been fantastic. But
absolutely.
Yeah, my career's been kind of like all over the place, mostly in New York. I've lived in New York for 13 years.
Are you from New York?
No, I'm from D.C.
Okay.
Born and raised Washington, D.C.
Very good.
Shout out to D.C.
There you
Absolutely.
go.
Yeah, man.
There you
Yeah,
go.
man. Love
So
DC.
what brought you to New York? How did you get into this? And was Showtime your first job?
No, so I wanted to be in sports television. I originally wanted to be on air, and I kind of...
You got the face for it, buddy.
I appreciate that.
All right,
Thank you
come
very
on now.
much.
Yeah.
You're a very handsome man yourself. And
It's too early for that, but it's too early.
Never too early.
Yeah.
So I came and I got a gig working the U.S. Open tennis tournament up in Queens, Forest
Awesome.
Hills, Queens, which is a beautiful complex up there.
Yeah.
And I was working for USA Sports. I was a PA. Basically, I was a runner. And USA Sports was a subsidiary of NBC Sports at that time, and so it was really NBC. And I just, you did a good enough job there as your role, running around doing things, and you make connections, and that just snowballs into other things, and that was really kind of the beginning of it, and that just kind of like rolled through to PA gigs, to NBCSports.com, through HBO at one point, and eventually making my way to Showtime.
Boom.
Which was great, and it's just been, I look back on it, it's just kind of like, it's a pretty wild ride, man.
Yeah, because it's been, a couple years now since you've left. Is that right? Or has it been
a year and a half?
A year and a half.
Year and a
Wow.
half, yeah, since I left Showtime.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
And just taking over the world.
Yeah, trying to.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm the new Amazon.
So, yeah, right? Yeah, you have the
Right.
banner behind you. It just says your name.
Yeah, man.
What do you think are the differences between when you worked at Showtime? Because you did a lot of the same things that you're doing now. You did field producing there, but now you're doing it as an independent contractor. What are the differences when you're working for a company of that magnitude versus doing it yourself and being hired by a company like that?
Well, I don't have to go into the office.
Yeah.
That's pretty great. I mean, the
you have a
workflows-
definitive out time.
Yeah, the workflow is the same. You got to talk to your creative directors and executive producers and get all the information that you need. But yeah, I mean, for me, it's just I'm popping in to do this, and I'm popping back out, and I'll wait to hear from them again, assuming they are pleased with the job that I do.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you're in it, I don't know that it's that much different. The way I fill out an expense report will be different.
Yeah.
But when you're in it, you're in it, and I don't know that there's glaring differences. It's just now I'm as a freelancer, you're constantly fighting for the next paycheck and where's the next paycheck and where's the next paycheck and
Yeah,
making sure you
exactly.
get that money. So that's just kind of constantly in your head. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
You're hustling.
You
gotta
gotta
hustle.
Yeah, and
Gotta
and we
hustle.
love the hustle. That's why we're doing this.
Sometimes we like the hustle when the hustle's good.
We
When there's a hustle to get.
we accept that there are good and bad with the hustle, and
Yep.
sometimes there are peaks and valleys, and that's fine. And
Exactly.
we can create our peaks, and we love that. So
For sure.
it's soul fulfilling.
Yeah, it's kind of funny even talking more about being an independent contractor. Like I'll be flat out honest, I didn't have a lot of work for October, November. There was just kind of a dry spout, and then all of a sudden December hit up, and I've literally worked every single day of December,
Yeah.
and I worked Christmas, I worked New Year's with you guys, and now we're going pretty much up until the 20th. So it's been a very different chain of events. It's healthy, but that's the one thing to let people know as well out there. There's a healthy mindset, just because some people are online saying, yay, I got a job, don't let that get you down. Don't let that depress you. It's about your venture in life. You're going to get that work. Just keep hustling and, just know that the work's going to come. Have faith, basically.
It's so easy to look at other people's careers and then all of a sudden someone else has a success over there, and,
Yep.
and you're like, oh my gosh, what I'm not doing something right, or my career's not taking off. Everyone's got their own path. Focus on yours. And I still do it. I still look at other people. I think, well, gosh, I'm not doing that.
How are they doing that
I'm
so
not
well?
doing
Yeah.
that. Yeah. So it's constantly, and I'm constantly building myself still, and constantly still building myself, and you are too. And it's a journey, man. It's a marathon.
You know what? I think though, we have a little bit of an advantage though at that type of mindset. And it is because we work with these fighters. For anybody who knows that I'm a huge boxing and UFC enthusiast, and it's because of working with Showtime. I'd never gone to a boxing event before. I went to one like 7-8 years ago where Josecito Lopez broke Victor Ortiz's jaw. And I had to follow him back to the dressing room, and his jaw, it was just so much energy. I was just instantly hooked from that first day. But the thing that I'm getting at is that there are so many people that are so determined and so laser focused in these gyms. I'm going to be world champion. They're not focusing on anybody else. They're focusing on their own journey. So it's a healthy mindset to have in life that a lot of people don't really get the benefit of seeing.
Good metaphor for kind of everyone else. Look at boxers. I mean, boxing is a good metaphor for life. And so, you get knocked down, you get back up.
Yep.
Boxers, and they, like you say, you get in the gym, you're laser focused, and it's I got to beat this guy. I'm hard charging toward the world championship. Everyone else is doing their thing, whatever. They're not me. I'm not them.
Exactly.
So, yeah. Totally, man.
So what have been your favorite camps? Because you've obviously worked on a bunch of these. Not even just saying Showtime. You've worked on a lot of these all-access type shows. Tell us what an all-access type show is, and then tell us about some of your favorites.
All access type show is, it's in the title right there. The concept is that we're going to take you inside this camp, inside this team, in a manner in which you never really get. We're going to be doing things with the fighter and with his camp and with his family. Showing you, pulling back the curtain and giving you things that are really unique in a fighter's life, and ideally showing you things that are a part of his life and surrounding his life that you don't know about, that are revelations and that are exciting, and a little bit of training footage and cool montages along the way. But that's what all access is, and that's what it means, and that's what we constantly bring and try to bring, and I think it's been pretty successful for Showtime.
It definitely has
Plenty of
been.
Emmys, man. Plenty of Emmys in
For
Showtime.
sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
good stuff.
Yeah. So what have been some of your favorite ones that you've worked on?
This has been a great one.
Yeah, it has been pretty awesome.
I went to the Philippines with Manny. We were there for almost 2 weeks in early and mid-December, and that was pretty special. I'd certainly never been over there before. We started off in Manila, then we traveled with he and his team to General Santos, where Manny is from, born and raised, and the whole thing was just an incredible experience that I will never forget.
Wow.
And we worked really hard. We did a lot, but we had a lot of fun. Everything was an adventure for us, and so I this is certainly at or near the top of the list of great camps and great individuals. And the camp's been great. Manny's been really fantastic.
Yeah, he really has.
And his team is really fantastic. Shout out to David Sisson, and Joe Ramos and all those guys, and Choi. Much love for Choi. Those guys are all great, and that really helps my job a lot. It's great. There's so many things that happen behind the scenes, and so many people that help make All Access
For sure.
special, and that's those
And
people
making
are
it
key.
all connect and work. Like you said, it's like, having a camp, working with Manny on this one, to have the access that we do. I mean, yes, it says all access, but you know what? Sometimes you don't. Sometimes these boxers, they'll trick you. They'll be like, oh, hey, we're going to go run over here at 5 o'clock in the morning. So you get there at 4, and then they don't show up because they were partying the last night and they didn't tell you about the party that they were at. That would have been an even better story for us.
They might have been partying. They might just not want to show up.
It happens.
It happens a lot.
They get lazy. It
Yeah,
happens.
I mean, you just sit around and wait and you sit around and wait, and sometimes it just never materializes.
Yep.
It's just kind of how it goes, and we still got a lot of love for these guys, and they're and it's been. I mean, take someone like Manny. Manny is in high demand all the time, and everyone wants a piece of Manny.
Yep.
And so sometimes I think Manny just wants a minute or two to just kind of
For sure.
kind of like be with his wife Jinky, who's lovely,
Yep.
and just kind of like hang out, in their house alone, maybe without everyone else, without being tugged at.
Always in a
20,000
mirror with a
different
camera
ways.
lens in
Yeah,
front of his face.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it absolutely comes with the territory, and it's just kind of the way things go, and you roll with the punches, and you do your best to create good television. That's pretty much it.
So how do you create this good television? What is your part? Obviously, people know I'm hitting the red button. I'm putting mics on people. I'm putting mics on Manny. What part are you doing in this, and how many people are a part of our crew?
I like to say that I'm the quarterback of this whole thing.
Nice.
I've got to set up the schedule each day. I've got to deal with a lot of different people and make sure the ball's constantly moving, even when you guys are on break and we struck down for the night. I mean, we had a whole day off 2 days ago, I think.
Yeah.
We didn't shoot, but that was not really a day off for me.
Yeah.
I'm talking with a lot of people, setting up what's happening later in the week. And then I'm constantly gathering as much information as I can. When we are going to a training session, you're recording sound, guys are recording, my DPs are recording on their cameras. And what is the storyline? Okay, can you shoot this guy? Okay, Thomas, get a boom over this conversation over here, and shoot that. And then I'm having conversations with people all throughout the gym, and I'm just gathering little bits of information. Oh, you guys are doing that tomorrow. That's interesting, and you write that down, and then that's something that might become a scene later, and that happens plenty, and that happened to me in the Philippines plenty of times. That was great, and I'm constantly gathering information. I'm constantly distributing to my crew, and we are moving from there, and I'm setting things up, and then every night it's okay, what's happening the next day, and then I wake up in the morning, and I've got text messages and people are calling me, and it happened again this morning, and it's it's been a little bit stressful already today.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting on some information right now about some stuff, and so it's constantly it's a river that flows, and it's just constantly moving, and I'm constantly trying to get my handle on it.
For sure.
And
So for all the naysayers out there, none of this is staged. You're not like, hey, let's spend $1,000 to the bowling alley and force them to come. We're following them along with their schedules. We're not changing it in any way, right?
We've encouraged a bowling outing or two.
Okay,
along
fair
the way,
enough, fair enough.
But there's nothing wrong with that. Doesn't mean it's not real. That doesn't mean it's not real.
Okay.
I know Adrien Broner loves to bowl.
Okay,
so
very good.
Saying, hey, let's go bowling is Adrien's ears will perk up and say, yeah,
I got my balls. Let's go.
Yeah, I worked with Adrien a bunch. But yeah, I mean, no, this is authentic stuff, and in the Philippines, Manny has a full schedule. He's a senator, and he's got people, Manny of the people. The people want a piece of him, and they want to know, they want to talk to him. They want to know what's going on in his life. And he's over here. He's very philanthropic. He's handing out money. He's handing out food. That stuff's real, and we're just trying to capture that. It's very verite, and you're constantly just trying to capture as it goes and goes and goes, and that's where information comes in. This is going to happen. Okay, we need to set up and be ready for this, rather than, oh, that just happened and we didn't get it.
Right.
So that's where the gathering information comes in. But
trying
but
to
no,
be
but it's
the pre-roll, trying to make sure that we know what's going to happen 2 steps ahead, so we're not just running into it blind.
exactly.
Man, nothing. You know what? Nothing hurts us more as a production crew when we go into something and it's like, this is not what you told us what we're doing.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, in theory, a lot of us as sound mixers, we will change our bag, even in terms of the equipment, depending upon what you guys tell us on our initial phone call.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's definitely a good thing for us to know. Oh, okay, we're doing sit-down interviews. I'll bring my C-stand. I'll bring my recording gear specifically for
Absolutely.
that.
Absolutely.
Or we're doing a dinner table for Christmas with 6 people around at Kabuki or whatever it is, and we need to make sure that we're prepared to capture the sound properly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's
Absolutely.
crazy.
You just reminded me of somebody else I need to reach out to and talk about something with, so thank you very much.
Oh boy, do you need to take a minute? We can go
No.
to standby here.
We're okay.
You know,
We're okay.
We'll play
We're okay.
like some elevator
it's just
music.
I just inventoried it and it's on the to-do list in my head.
Remind me. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see here. So
These are giant coffee cups, by the way.
I
these
love
are
these,
comically
man.
large.
Right?
Cheers.
Cheers
Thank you so much.
to that. I
I
love
don't
it.
know if I can drink all of this coffee.
And by the way, everyone, this Mantis discussion, as well as all of them, are sponsored by K-Tech, our friends. Guys, they've got some incredible gear. I was trying to get some information. They have a new product coming out in like a week, and I wanted to tell you, but I'm not allowed to. So all I can say is check out K-Tech's website. Make sure that you're on all of their lists. Subscribe to them. They got something really cool coming out this month that you guys are going to love. So
Thank you, K-Tech.
Yeah, right? Yeah, we use their boom poles and stuff like that. They basically make all different types of like camera mounts. You know the ERX that you're using,
Sure.
they have the mold for it, so if you drop it, it doesn't break and
cool.
everything. They just make a ton of different accessories that help us be a lot more professional and look really sweet.
Is that your
cool.
go-to?
I would
K-Tech?
say so.
Yeah?
Yeah, for sure. I use them for, like, if they have an accessory, I'll go to them first before I venture out to other companies. They just make quality parts. But even more than that, it's about the quality of their service. Like, if something's wrong, you just call them up. They'll either replace it or fix it for free.
Yeah.
They're just really chill
Good
like
customer
that.
service is
They-
really valuable, so that's pretty nice to hear.
It's the best.
Yeah.
It's the best. But, yeah. Shout out to K-Tech, everybody. So let's get back more
Big up
into...
to K-Tech.
Talk to us about like a normal work day. Let's like, we can work as much as 2 or 3 hours a day, or we could work 15, 16, 18, 20 hours. I mean, I know that there were a few people that had like 22-hour days when they were working with Mayweather back in the day. We don't really have that with Manny, thank God.
Mayweather's a special individual.
For sure.
I mean, you are on call 24/7 with Mayweather because his sleep schedule is so odd. And I never worked directly in a Mayweather camp, and you know, it would have been an experience. Let's just say that.
For sure.
But no, that's a very unique scenario being in a Mayweather camp. But a normal day, I mean. You know, a lot of fighters will get up early and run. Manny's no different there. So you want to get 2 or 3 runs usually in a training camp if you're doing an all access. And
so we're not running. If he's running every day, which some of them do, some of them don't, right? You don't need to get every single run.
No, I mean, you can if you want, certainly, but there's no need to do that. Running footage is great because shout out to Jonathan Heaps, Jody, loves to use running footage. Running footage can be put over like anything. You know, whatever the fighter might be talking about, it can be a pensive slow-mo of him running. It can just be in the moment of him running. You know, in the voiceover every morning, Manny Pacquiao gets up and goes for a run and prepares for a run with his team. And it's him and his team charging up the hill. He's talking about his family. He's talking about, you know, coming up as a young fighter. All of those topics can be covered by a run, and it makes sense and it looks good.
Yeah.
So that's the beauty of getting runs. That's the importance of getting runs and getting all this different stuff, and you know, his feet hitting the pavement and all this, you know, all that good stuff. So runs are great.
Now, when do we have to get there? Like, because you said like, okay, well, in fact, Manny Pacquiao, he runs at 5:50 in the morning. We're not going to tell you where, but that's when he runs.
Yeah.
So when do we have to get there to set up? What's the procedure?
I try to get my crew a minimum of 30 minutes ahead. That allows for people rolling in late. You get 30 minutes. You can get there. You can prepare. I mean, as I joked around earlier about waiting around, I want to get there and I want to be waiting around. I do not want to get there and this is happening right now.
Oh, he's there. Crap.
Yeah.
Finish. Do the time code.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Oh, he's already up the hill. Dang it. We're late.
We had a couple scenarios in the Philippines. We on our first few days we had a powwow because we were not getting the arrivals of Manny, and he's pulling up to the gym. He's doing, and we had a meeting because that was it's happening, and it was. I certainly, as the quarterback, it's part me, but the crew wasn't getting their gear ready in time, and it was constantly, so we had a powwow, we had a meeting, and then we fixed it, and we got plenty of arrivals, so we were fine.
Yep. It just comes to being prepared. I mean, even when you tell me, hey, 30 minutes, be there 30 minutes before, I usually get there a half an hour even earlier than that because I like to be ready when you're there. Like, boom, my time code's ready. Here's my boxes. Bam, put them on the cameras because maybe Manny does show up. They usually don't show up early, but sometimes they do. And you know what? I don't ever want you to be waiting on me because it's harder for us to get into the bag and stuff anyways. Totally. It's not just like pick up a camera, hit a red button.
Yeah, absolutely.
It takes us 30 seconds to 40 seconds to legitimately get ready to go. We can throw it on, but to really get our, Michael Jackson flow going, it's a little different.
So what were we talking about? The
flow
day?
of the job. So after the run, what generally happens? We don't take them to the showers, people. We don't do that.
Well, they did with Canelo after a fight once.
Awkward.
They did with Canelo after a fight once. The footage is actually, shout out to Steve LeMay. That footage was beautiful. He followed him into the shower after, I can't remember exactly which fight, but it's beautiful shot of the water is washing the blood off of his face and down his hands, and it's the shot of his feet, and the blood is coming down, and the drain is gorgeous actually. But that was atypical. We're not usually following him in the showers, but I mean, I want, there's specific things that I want, and you're demanding a lot of a fighter's time, and so you're picking and choosing. I want this, and this, and this, and you tell the fighter and his team ahead of time, these are the things that I want.
Right.
So you're not blindsiding him with those things. They're going to train at some point during the day. You're going to go get that. You're going to need to mic certain people. You're going to mic the trainer. There might be one or two other people in the gym who have loud voices,
right?
Who are either coaching or just kind of being circus acts and the resident loudmouth of the team. Every team's got one or two, and those guys are good to mic too because they're characters. They're good characters to have
for sure.
So that you're preparing for that. And we love scenes of fighter and family. Maybe it's a meal. Those always work well. Maybe they're going bowling. Maybe they're doing whatever they're doing. Manny's a competitor. He likes to shoot pool and play darts. All these things. So those are all nice little scenes. And you're finding out what things might be going on with the camp that you can tag along with. And you are at the same time kind of, thinking, okay, well, what's going on? Tonight is the premiere of All Access Episode 1, 8 p.m. Eastern.
I believe that's right. What we can do is we can confirm that. Like, you could even text somebody right now to confirm what that information is, and we'll put it in the comments for everybody.
Let's look it up.
And actually, while he's doing that, let's answer a couple questions from some people that are watching. Whatever happened to pre-production, Jesse Flores, I agree with you. It's something that not a lot of people are doing nowadays. They just I think it's just because of all of these auto settings on these cameras. It's just getting so easy to pick it up and hit record. We have to take pre-production into our own hands. So if they're not going to give it to you, you have to be as prepared as you can be, especially at something as high level as this. I hate to say it, I'm very fortunate that I've got a job like this, and I don't want to screw it up. So like I said, I am there earlier. I've got my boxes ready to give to the camera guys or to stab them in. I've got my transmitter rolling, ready to go, so I can run in there. The tape is already unstickified, so it can go on Manny without even thinking, because I need to wire him in 30 seconds before he gets into his Ferrari and drives off with a camera. So it just gets a little bit stressful. Take your pre-production into your own hands. Every single night, even when I come home, the first thing that I do is I will dump my audio. I'll make sure that they've got a Dropbox of it. And then from there, I will set up my bag. I'll change my batteries. I'll get the time code boxes. I'm using Tentacle Sync on this job. Shout out to Tentacle Sync. Those boxes are incredible. So I have those on charge, making sure that they're ready to go. And I just think about the workflow. If Patrick here gives me any information, and that's actually the next question for you is, you have a difficulty, not a difficulty, but you have the most difficult job in, I got to get the information from them all the time. What are we doing next? What are we doing next? What are we doing next? All the time. then you have to flow that to us. So when does that information come to us so you're not confusing us, giving us too much information, giving us too little? What's the procedure of the trickle down of information?
The procedure is as information comes to me. I mean, it behooves me to get you guys information as soon as possible so that you can prepare for wherever we're going. For yourself, it's how many lofts do I need? How many guys are we miking? In the next hour.
Yeah.
Where we're going over here. What is the situation going to be like for sound?
Right.
For a DP, it's what additional gear do I need? What lenses might I need? So it serves me no purpose really to withhold information from you guys. The only time I might do that is if you are in the moment overwhelmed with something or focusing on whatever the scene is. It doesn't make sense for me at that moment to go provide information to you.
For sure.
Another example is last night you found out information. I was in your car. We were driving home, and I was talking to the senior producer for this show, and said a certain celebrity might come visit Manny Pacquiao in camp.
Right.
And you turned to me. You said, "Really?"
Exactly. I got a little excited.
Yeah.
Can't tell you who yet.
We
But
can't tell you that, but that's information that it doesn't matter if I tell you that because that's not confirmed yet. We don't know that yet. So if and when I get that stuff confirmed, then I give it to you. Hey, prepare this person is coming into the camp today. We're going to need to shoot them watching Manny work out. They're going to have a conversation with Manny and yada yada. We'll do an OTF interview. And so, I'm trying to get information to you guys as quick as possible, and I value the opinion of my audio mixer, of my DPs.
this guy.
Because they know how to capture the best sound, the best images in certain environments. And so if I say, hey, we're going to go over here and we're shooting inside of a plane, we're inside of a car, it's okay. Well, it works best if I do this, 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 and this. Okay, great. Awesome. We'll make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
So
there's no questions with you. I appreciate that. One of the things that bugs us as sound guys, sorry to interrupt, is because they'll come and they'll be like, how do you want to do this scene? And I'll be like, oh, I'll boom it or I'll do this. And they'll be like, well, why do you want to do it that way? Why do you want to debate this in front of this celebrity or whatever it is? Let's just get it done. We're all here for a reason because we're professionals and we know what we need to do.
Yeah.
Let's just hammer the job and get it done, or discuss it in pre-production beforehand.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So no, I think we've had a pretty good flow in our camp so far here.
Definitely
in LA to do that, and things
more
have
than
gone well.
Usual.
Yeah. So good. That makes me feel good.
But let's be flat out honest though. But you know what? I'll be honest with you though. Like I had a lot of trouble my first even 3-4 years working with Showtime because I'm a stubborn person sometimes. You know that. When you are so used to getting call sheets on union television shows for 5-10 years, and then all of a sudden it's like getting a text the hour before we have to be somewhere, that can be really stressful for people that are like super preparers. So I had to learn that you're not going to get call sheets on these types of jobs unless if it's like a definitive, like, oh, they're doing a commercial shoot and you're part of that commercial production. If you're part of All Access, you just need to know that you're working from December 19th until one of them gets knocked out in the ring. That's flat out what it is.
Yeah.
And if the more you consider yourself just on call, being prepared to go, the more just I can hit record faster than the next person, the more valuable you're going to be to that company.
Yeah.
So
I'm getting and here's a call right now I'm getting from
if you need to take it, I have a couple questions from these guys. So
okay.
Take it. We'll just be quiet for a second. He's on a phone call, so we're going to switch to me while he's taking the phone call. Marty Lester says, hard to see. What are the headphones or microphones that you guys are using? They sound really good. Good idea for podcasting. Thank you. I appreciate it. I've been using this setup now for a little bit, maybe about 5 or 6 months. I started doing these podcasts about 6 months ago, but I've actually just changed up the setup. I used to use, if I flip over to the other camera, you can see I've got a Yamaha ONV 96i in the corner. I was having that connected with a really long USB extension cable and having that be my sound card. But Santa came a little bit earlier for me this year, and I got a Sound Devices Mix Pre 10T. It's underneath the table right now. In the future, I will have it up on the table when we do a vault talk about this. But yeah, other than that, I have these headphones right here, which are the Audio-Technica BPHS1s. The reason why I use these, I know a lot of people like having the podcast arms with the big boom mics. Um, I'm in a house and I built this studio around me. I'm right next to a kitchen. I didn't want to have really active microphones around, and I didn't want to have these huge boom arms. And the other thing is, my podcast is kind of portable. There are some times where somebody's working and they're flying in from New York to LA, and they don't have time to come to me. So I said, you know what? I'll come to you. I can record this and then, broadcast it later for everybody. But I just wanted to have the ability to go portable. So my podcast setup allows me to shoot multicam with, 3 cameras, A, B, and C. And I actually have a D camera and a floater cam called Mantis Cam that I use as well, that we use more on Vault Talks, which in the 2019, guys, I'm going to be flipping this a little bit. By the way, these mugs are huge, Blas. Love them. The only way to drink coffee in the morning. Big. With an analog tape on it, by the way. But yeah, that's the idea. Is I wanted to have a setup that is easy for me to set up. I can plug up to 8 of these headsets into this MixPre 10T, plug one cable into the computer, and record audio podcasts. I can plug them into my video streaming services, so I can do these Facebook Live events just like we're doing. It's pretty spectacular. So we'll put a couple links of these in the comments for you guys if you want to help support the site. These will be Amazon affiliate links. These kind of things help us support to do these Mantis discussions. I'm just a regular sound guy trying to bridge the gap between students and professionals.
You're an excellent sound guy. You're not just a regular sound guy.
Oh, you're making
Sell
me
yourself
blush.
short.
I love it. Daniel Powell, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. So yeah, welcome back.
Thank
Everything
you so
good?
much.
Do we have to roll? Do we have to go?
No, we're good.
No?
We're chilling.
Okay, cool.
We're good.
Awesome.
Powers that be just want to have a little conversation about some things ahead. No big deal.
Uh-oh.
All good.
Did I get canned?
No, you're still in. Good
Okay.
news.
Okay, good.
They
We're
tried.
good,
I
guys.
fought for you.
Thanks, buddy.
Get rid of Pop.
No, please don't. I need this job. All right, so you know what? Let's talk a little bit about you've worked with a lot of different crews. You don't just work with me and Alistair and Dylan, which, by the way, shout out to those guys. They are some of the best camera operators and DPs in the field.
My first experience with Alistair. He's the man. I love him.
I was thinking
Super
about,
pro.
when you were talking about the first episode, and just to let everybody know, Dylan, Alistair, and I, we weren't part of the first episode, which is airing tonight. You were a part of it. That was filming in the Philippines, and now that you're here, they started with us. And that's one of the things that I want to talk about is sometimes, oh, you're getting another call. Do you need to take it?
Excuse me.
Guys, this is the life of working on All Access. He's getting another call from his executive producer, so I have to take over for a little bit. Do you guys have any questions about working on All Access shows? Because obviously, as you can tell, it's a little bit crazy. Right now, Manny could be going to work out. He could be going out with his family, doing a bunch of things, and we just need to make sure that we are ready to go, because I would literally have to just be like, see you later, guys. I have to go, hit stop, take my bag out of audio card mode, because that's what it's in right now, and go from there. So we're just going to have to wait for Patrick. We have a few more questions for him. The main questions that I wanted to ask him right now, and maybe you guys can give me some insight too, is when a crew is working on a documentary where they don't want to fly the sound mixer out, he has to work with multiple sound mixers in multiple areas. Generally, they may take me from Los Angeles to Vegas because it's kind of easy and it's kind of cheap. I can get in a vehicle and drive if I needed to help them out, or they could just get me a cheap plane ride. But a lot of these times, when you're going to Guadalajara with Canelo, or you're going to the Philippines with Manny, you're not necessarily bringing your sound guy. Maybe you'd like to. I know I would love to go to the Philippines, but what's the story about that when you can't take the crew
That you want to take?
Mm-hmm.
There's a number of guys, obviously, who are very good at what they do, DPs and mixers, and you do your best to get one of those guys. And if you can land a team of those guys, that's super ideal.
Mm-hmm.
I knew My A shooter in the Philippines was someone I worked with before, Oliver Anderson. Much love to Ollie. He's the man. And he pulled along the B shooter was a friend of his, Nicholas Galante, and Nick pulled along a sound mixer, Dan Bricker, and everyone was great. I really have no complaints, and I've heard no complaints about from the post crew about anything.
Excellent.
So that's ideal. If you can't get your guys, you want recommendations from them about guys that they trust.
Yeah.
Because these things are obviously important, and if the people you trust, the best you can do is the people that you trust get the people that they trust, and then you go with that. That's kind of the way it is.
What kind of crew, like in terms of mindset, do you need? Because it is like it's happening right now. You can't get another take. So what kind of qualities do you think people that operate camera, but especially sound, need for this type of a gig?
You need to understand that this is a run and gun operation, and you're going to be moving fast. Situations are not going to be ideal sometimes, and you just got to do the best you can and roll with the punches. The worst audio guys I've ever had, and I can think of very specific examples, are guys that didn't quite get what we were doing. I mean, we're following these guys around. Sometimes we're moving real quickly. You're not going to get your perfect lunch right when you want it. You can go complain to whoever you want. I don't care. I won't have you back on my crew. And it is constantly moving. You might sweat a little bit. You might be out of breath.
Yeah, guys, we're working in gyms where they said, oh, no, you know what? There's 12 people in here today. I guess I can turn off the heat because it'll still get to be about 110 degrees. So we'll be good. That'll be good for Manny. And it's like, wait, what? It's hot. We're dripping at the end of these. They're not working out for like 30 minutes on an elliptical. They're working out where they're drenched at the end of the day. They're working like 3-4 hour sessions.
Yeah, yeah. And I remember we did when we shot Danny Jacobs. I mean, flexibility. When we went for his run, I found out that he goes on his run, and then he goes to this point in the park and he does some shadow boxing, and it was beautiful. So we got the run, and then we raced ahead, and DP set up and had a Steadicam rig and just kind of moved all around him while he shadow boxed. And it was just beautiful shots. You just need to be ready to kind of move at all times, and I don't want to hear you complain about it.
Yeah,
I don't want to hear you complain about it. I mean, there's plenty to complain about, and I always want input.
There's always something to complain about.
I always want input about kind of the best. I think that the best way we can do this next time is this. Great, give me that stuff. But like just kind of whining and just collapsing in the moment.
Don't get
which
pissed
I've seen
off, for sure.
Is just not gonna go well with me at all.
You just have to smile and understand. You know what? Like even sometimes, like it doesn't happen with Manny. It doesn't.
Yeah.
Maybe 10-15 minutes where they might be late a little bit. When you're working with other people like Mayweather and other people, sometimes you're literally waiting around 8 or 9 hours for him to show up on his private jet. And it can piss you off. It can piss you off so much. I remember being so boiling because we were working with Canelo. We're in a room, and it's like he did his photo shoot. Now we got to wait for Floyd, and we literally waited like 7 or 8 hours, and Canelo was fine. I'm like, how are you not pissed? I want to take him to the ring. I would get my ass kicked. But so you have to learn how to just stay chill on these jobs, not show any anger. You're getting paid to sit around and record dead air. Who cares? You get what you get. You just have to be the Mantis. You need to be prepared to just be rolling and ready and get everything when they show up.
Be the Mantis. I like that.
Be the Mantis.
Be the Mantis. That is good. Is that a bumper sticker?
It should be.
Can I have that? Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to make you one.
Yeah.
For sure, especially for doing the first one of 2019.
Be the Mantis.
Well, that was the whole idea of Video Mantis, is that, you know what, when you're a beginning student and you're on set, it's nervous. You don't really know what's going on, especially the first few days. You're a deer in headlights. And the idea is like, a praying mantis, when it's out in the wild, it's like dead still. and it only moves when it wants. It's very precise in what it does, and it's kind of what we have to be. We have to stand at attention and wait for Manny to show up, just like all the trainers are there 30 minutes before, and they've got all their boxing gloves and their tape and everything ready. So when he shows up, he comes out, and poof, they just go to work. It's total precision. It's a well-oiled machine, and we have to fit into that cog, you know.
Totally.
So
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
kind of interesting.
I hope I answered the question there. I'm not sure, but did I answer the question?
Yeah, I think so. Well, tell us any more. Do you have any like sound horror stories from when you've worked on some of these shows when things just like derailed?
So to the story, I was to the incident I was kind of alluding to earlier, talking about this is a running gun operation. I remember working a job down in DC. I was with Showtime, and we hired a local sound guy. I don't remember how the line producer got him. And usually the guys are fine.
That's why we wear the sound guy shirts, man. It's okay.
You
It's
don't
okay.
you don't usually have horror stories, and God forbid you do. Have a lot of horror stories, but you're gonna certainly get run into. And we had a guy who just we were moving from one location to the other, and we had like a little jog ahead of us. And that was the way it was going, so we could capture the fighter's relocation. And we got to the next location, and our audio guy was not in the best shape, and he quite literally collapsed and really just and really just started kind of complaining about kind of like he didn't expect this is what it was going to be like. And at that point I'm shrugging my shoulders. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like this is what we do.
You need to get to the end of the day.
Yeah. I mean, this is what we do. If this is not your cup of tea, then go sit in a chair and record sound in a conference room, and then there's plenty of jobs out there for that, and that's fine. I really enjoy what we do. I really like this, and I really like the fast paced, and when you capture what you want and you get something good, and
You're capturing history.
when you work hard to do it, and you're moving fast, and bullets are flying, and you're dodging them, and you're dealing with it, and your crew is all in sync. It's a beautiful thing, man. It's really harmonious. It's really fantastic when that happens, and we live for those moments. And if you don't think you can do that, then certainly find a job that you are comfortable in. I had a nightmare job in Cleveland once, where an audio guy, I recorded an interview, and we got to the end of it, and my subject was leaving, and it was an athlete, a professional athlete, and their time is very valuable. You can't really, it's not like, okay, let's do that all again.
Let's hang out and do it again.
Yeah,
doesn't happen.
And he he took off his mic and he was ready to leave. And my audio guy said, it'd be great if we got kind of the first like 5 minutes again, because I wasn't recording. And I was just kind of like, what do you mean? What do you mean you weren't recording? He said, well, I wasn't really ready. I was like, and I always ask, are we ready? Are we good to go? And I didn't get a no.
You didn't, yeah, exactly.
I got green lights, and so we recorded, and for the first 5 minutes, and the athlete left. The athlete was gone. The athlete had a very tight schedule. He had a game that day. He had a playoff game that day, so he wasn't sticking around for us.
You got nothing.
So the first 5 minutes were gone.
Oh,
they were just gone, and so we.
So it's. Hi, my name is, and you don't have it.
So so you have to cut it and try to make it work as best you can. But that was, and I remember kind of looking at him and being like, what do you mean? And how do you, if we start and you're not recording, you need to speak up.
Yeah.
You need to be like, hey, I'm sorry. I need to,
Yeah.
have use your words.
Yeah.
I'm not ready yet. I'm not recording. And I was okay, no big deal.
It's more professional for you to admit a mistake and to stop a derailment that's going to destroy the production later.
Yeah.
Where they're like, we don't have what we thought we achieved. That's not a good thing. So. Yeah, especially on these jobs, I'll be honest, bits are cheap, guys. We have recorders with 64 gigabyte cards, 128 gigabyte cards, where when we're recording 4 to 6 tracks, we can record for like 6, 7, 8 hours straight. So, you know what? I know that, and I'll just enable all the tracks, even the dead ones. If I have a transmitter that I know I'm going to use, but the guy isn't here yet, I'll enable it to record and just have it on and have it ready to go. So even if sometimes I have to have you wire for me because somebody else showed up and I'm booming a scene, and it's like, dude, this guy's really important. Put a wire on him, and I'll give it to you, and you'll put it on. What good is it if it isn't turned on accident because you don't know all the theory of these things?
How did I do recording the wire in that corner the other day?
You did great. Yeah, we're having an issue right now on this. It's not an issue, but it is something that happens. Is sometimes you'll work with guys, they'll be like, I don't want a wire on me. For whatever reason, maybe they just don't like it. Maybe they don't trust sound guys. Maybe
Sometimes they take it off. You put it on, and then 5 minutes later they say I don't want it, and they take it off.
And that's what happened to me on this one. Is that I put one on one of the trainers, and 5 minutes later he's just like, and he just gives it back, and it's like, okay, I have 4 hours of now camera operators zooming in on tight shots in a room that's 100 decibels. It's super loud, and I have to get a boom over there. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll put a plant up. So, and that's what I did with Patrick. Is I had him take a transmitter and hide it on the ropes in a way where everybody's kind of hanging over the ropes watching Manny. Oh, he should work on this. He should work on that. And you just picked up that whole area for me, and it just helped to make it so much easier to get the sound. So high five for that one, buddy. Thank you.
Let's high five.
Let's see maybe some analog clinkage. There we go.
Chink.
Cheers. Not sending to camera. Not in this situation. They have somebody's asking a question.
Yeah, cool.
What we have is we have a shotgun on every one of the cameras, but then I'm just running time code. We used to, but just for their workflow, everything is so easy for them to just sync up. I think they're using Premiere for this, right?
Probably.
Yeah, so I mean, as long as they've got a time code stamp, and I'm hitting record for 2, 3, 4 hours at a time, so I just have a huge file, and it just syncs up automatically in post. It was too much work. And the other thing is, I don't want to have a time code box and an audio box on the camera. The ERXs worked for many years, but I'll be honest, now that these cameras are getting so much smaller, the camera guys, they're getting sick of the ERXs. They're like, I don't want that big thing on the camera. It's half the size of the camera. So I'm like, okay, why don't we just run time code and do it dual system like they used to do, which is the right way. And they were like, okay, fine. So we'll have a time code slate on the front of the bag that's just in a read run mode, and it's just displaying my time code all the time. That way, if they brush past me or whatever, they can look at me at the beginning and then start shooting their scene. But other than that, we're just sending time coded cameras. It works. So.
By the way, I found out. So tonight, 10 all access premieres, 10:30 Eastern.
10:30 Eastern.
7:30.
So it's 7:30 here.
Cali.
Okay.
I have a preview here. I got to watch this at some point.
Nice.
And then next week it's 9:30 Eastern. According to this, January 11th, 9:30 Eastern.
And that'll be the one that we worked on here.
That'll be the one we worked on here.
The first one airing is the one where they were in the Philippines, and now he's here training until he goes up to the fight. So guys, you got to watch this fight, and thank you for watching the first Mantis discussion of 2019. We pretty much have to start getting ready to go get Manny.
Yeah, we got to
now.
move. We got to move.
We got to go to train and then do all the other good stuff that you guys will see on one of the episodes. So thank you for joining us, Patrick. Thank you for joining me again. Absolutely.
Pleasure. This is fun.
It's been a blast. And guys, if you have any more questions, we'll be working throughout the day, so I'll be checking the comments here on this video. So let us know if you have any questions about all access type gigs, and we'll answer them. Take care, guys. Thank you so much for joining, and stay tuned. We got some new stuff coming up. Like I said, we've got some updates to the app coming. We've got some new courses on videomantis.com that you're going to have to check out. We've got new ones that are going to be coming out throughout the year, and we've got a new Vault Talk coming out next week. A little bird told me, Andrew Jones, that we might get some toys to play with. If you're interested, stay tuned.
Sounds dirty.
Yeah, it does. Take care, guys. Bye.